Valeria was destroyed, and all their dragons were lost with it, along with Valerian recorded history, spells, and knowledge. With its center of power destroyed, the Freehold collapsed. Of the mighty families of dragon lords who ruled the Freehold, only one survived, House Targaryen, which had re-established itself on Dragonstone in Westeros years before the Doom. Most importantly, the Targaryens on Dragonstone possessed the only Valyrian dragon that survived the Doom, the only remaining dragons in the known world, the world of ice and fire. In this episode, which is the second in the House of the Dragon series, we're going to cite the events that has happened in the issues after the extinction of Valyria, and what has happened to the free cities of Essos. With the capital of Valyria destroyed, its surviving colonies to the west and the east reasserted their independence, politically fracturing the continent and initiating a series of savage wars for dominance known as the Century of Blood. During the Century of Blood, each of the 8 former colonies that would become the free cities initially fought each other in chaotic series of shifting alliances. The 9th free city, Braavos, was not a colony of the Valyrian Freehold, but a refugee founded by the slaves who escaped from it. The oldest and the most populous of the colonies, Volantis, attempt to conquer all the other colonies in order to rebuild the Freehold under their rule. Indeed, they have succeeded to make Myr and Lys their first colonies and other small cities until the Rhine River. Volantis failed when all the other free cities united against them. Pentos asked for help from the king Argilac Durrandon, also known as Argilac the Arrogant, the ruler of the Stormland, who responded by sending his army to rescue Pentos. Myr and Lys asked the help of Aegon Targaryen from Dragonstone. The deciding factor was that the young Aegon Targaryen, possessor of the last 3 Valyrian dragons in the world, responded to Myr and Lys and entered the conflict on the side of the Volantis enemies. The power of Volantis was shattered, and no further grand attempts were made to unite all of the free cities into a new Valyrian empire. The remaining of the Volantis had decided stupidly to move from Volantis to the shattered Valyria in the Smoking Sea, and they have disappeared and no one knows what has happened to them. On the east of Essos, the Dothraki led by the Khal Timo, numbering 20,000 riders, set its eyes on the Qohor, the easternmost of the free cities, which directly borders the Dothraki Sea, intended to raze Qohor to the ground and plunder its remains. Facing certain destruction, Qohor doubled its city guards and prepared heavy armored cavalry to face the Dothraki. They also hired 2 full sellsword companies, one of which was the Second Sons. Almost as an afterthought, they sent an envoy to Astapor in Slaver's Bay to purchase 3,000 of their unsullied warriors, slave soldiers. On the first day of the battle, before the Unsullied arrived, the Qohoric forces were shattered. Their heavy horse were butchered by the mobile Dothraki light cavalry, who cut down men using their arach blades. The Dothraki archers also fired from the horseback, so that the rain of arrows came both as they advanced and as they withdrew to set up the next charge. The 2 sellsword companies fled the battle rather than face such a hopeless odds. Yet during the night, as the Dothraki feasted to celebrate their victory, the relatively small force of the Unsullied managed to slip past their lines. When the second day dawned, the Dothraki awoke to see 3,000 Unsullied arrayed before the gates of Qohor. their companies arrayed in a precise formation. The Dothraki could easily flank the relatively small number of the Unsullied. The Dothraki, however, think nothing of infantry, arrogantly consider them good for nothing but riding down. 20,000 Dothraki riders charged the Unsullied lines, but their phalanxes held firm with the fearless discipline. Many Dothraki died on the fence of the Unsullied spears. Teemu had his archers let loose upon the Unsullied, but they raised and locked their shields above their heads and weathered the incoming fire. The Dothraki charged the Unsullied phalanxes a total of 18 times, yet each time they were repulsed. By the end, only 600 of the 3 Unsullied survived, yet 12,000 Dothraki were dead, including Khal Teemu and all his sons. For the first time in history, the invincible Dothraki hordes now knew the bitter taste of defeat. After the battle, the new Khal led the surviving Dothraki up to the city gates. As per Dothraki custom, one by one each man cut off his hair. The whole world knew his shame of defeat, and then threw the braid down before the feet of the Unsullied. The reputation of the new Unsullied legions was firmly solidified in Essos. Afterwards, Qohor has maintained a standing garrison of Unsullied purchased from Slaver's Bay. Several of other free cities or wealthy merchant princes from them also often buy smaller companies of Unsullied for their own protection. After the Battle of Qohor, even the Dothraki came to respect the Unsullied, as they do not other infantry in the world, whom they usually regard with contempt. We have come up to an end of this episode in which we have seen what has happened to Essos continent after the extinction of Valyria. In the next video, we will see what has happened in the other part of the world, in Westeros continent, where the Targaryen has arrived right after 12 years of the Doom. Please like the video and subscribe to receive new videos and to keep us going. Thank you for watching.